my dear intelligent, dedicated, and very highly discerning brothers and sisters, fellow Ghanaians, citizens of Omofia, Sika Perere, Yepenukore, Boaminami Yawu, Galamsey Gold Mafia Republic, Stolen Crude Oil Mafia Republic, Container Republic, Ambulance Republic, Dollar Republic, citizens of the island of Saint-Tropez in the south of France, are citizens of Guyana, home of loot, allegedly stolen from Ghana, put aboard private jets, and invested in oil fields, among other things. Mr. Nonsense. Evil case. You want me to mention Mr.'s name so that they'll take me to court and go and sue me? Nonsense. Mr. How are you? Are you still carrying the money aboard the private jets to the place? By the way, so I want to ask you, where is Oga Chebi Hitler now? Is he at Nima or Chebi or Islegon? And when is he relocating allegedly to Saint-Tropez in the south of France, the richest part of the world, having now fulfilled the dream of allegedly building one of Africa's most prosperous and influential families, even though it is in the coming years that we'll see whether this dream has actually been fulfilled or not. Oh, Cho, you didn't know that was at the core of all the agitation for power, based on which all kinds of things were told with the people. Oh, the man wanted to build the most prosperous family in Africa. After it is said that he went to Japan and found that there's a particular family in Japan who only make you prime minister, or whose endorsement of your candidature as prime minister will succeed. My brother, I sit back now and compare the rule of the Hitler of Chebi, and I compare it to all the things he said, particularly between 2012, when he was thrown out of the Supreme Court, to 2016. And I wonder if it was the same person or two. Did anybody observe that he either did the complete opposite of everything he told we the people, or he had a backup plan for all those things that he couldn't do? So that when he said he was too old to steal, for example, it was because he knew that he had trusted clansmen and women who could do the stealing for him. Nonsense. Evil tickets. Who is mentioning the names of the initials of CD? Who is that? Who is that calling? Who is that saying CD? Please, CD Kumi compact disc or condom. Nobody should come across me this evening. Who is that saying that CD was possibly or probably keeping the money that had been packed in her room like bags of cement in trust for some big Chebi mafia people? Who is saying it? Who is saying that if a guy was too old to steal, and by implication, too old to disallow stealing in his government, why did he swiftly write a letter clearing the woman even before the master was investigated? And how come till today, Team Oral hasn't moved on that matter? And in all the back and forth, has anybody been offered any plausible explanation for the ridiculous amount of money which was found in Madame's bedroom? Initially, she said she inherited her late brother, who we are told was Taflache, a shoemaker, supposedly before he became a chief, and then later died though. When the lawyers threatened to go to court to compel her to release that money as part of the dead man's estate, panic set in. And so that story changed. And that was it. Nobody now knows how she got the money. You understand? And for some reason, people are not interested though. Till now, we don't know how she came by the money. But should we consider that unspoken chatter? That unlike Barack Obama, who is making it very, very clear that he will not tolerate any kind of stealing. And is very, very wild and serious on asset declaration. Ojam gave his people, especially those who stuck by him when things were dark, the unfettered gravitas to steal as much as they could from wherever they could to acquire whatever they could. Is that why people had ridiculous amounts of money in their bedrooms? Please, does anybody remember the properties that were listed in a particular divorce hearing, all of which were acquired within 3 years of Grandpa coming into office? And even the person involved was just one of Grandpa's small boys. So, does anybody remember the last will and testament of the late Kojo Owusu-Efriye, aka Sir John, which included even World Heritage sites known as Ramsar sites? Does anybody remember the level of greed involved in that will? And there is this very all-important question. If a mere sanitation minister could boast of so much money in a room that when a pricey chunk of it was stolen, she didn't even know, can anybody imagine what other people have hidden in polytanks and in holes in the ground in their houses? How much does the chap whose son was taking bundles of cash to school to give to impress a girl he was interested in have in his bedroom? If he had so much money that his son could carry the money, maybe bundles of maybe 20,000, or that's 200,000, or 20,000 bundles, or 10,000 bundles. How much money did the man have in his room? And was the cash packed like it was done in a certain viral video whose subject later died under mysterious circumstances? Again, would the authorities please go back? The people in power now, would they please go back, look for that video, and look for the circumstances under which the gentleman in question died? We, the people, would like to know. My brother, was the money packed like that, or it was packed like loaves of bread? True. My brother, when you think about it, the guy from the top at the time, the Chebi Mafia boss, or the Chebi Hitler, he did a lot, oh. It was as if he knew that he had nothing to lose, or that Ghanaians would do him foco if he didn't leave any kind of legacy. Oh, you understand? And that is the ugly truth. At this point, if you ask Yanu, or if you engage them in any conversation about legacy, they will have absolutely nothing to say. Oh. As for me, I've said it and I'll continue to say it, that free SHS is not a legacy of Grandpa, because it is not a policy that he originally sat down, thought out, and wrote on it. It was the framers of the 1992 Constitution who incorporated the blueprint for the education of Ghanaians in Article 25. Under the directive principles of state policy, it is there in black and white, the blueprint for primary education, secondary education, university education. And so free SHS cannot be an original policy that can be credited to Grandpa. But my brother, if you engage Yanum, ask them this question: what is the legacy of Grandpa? They will have absolutely nothing to say. Oh, what is Grandpa's single biggest tangible achievement as president of this country for 8 years? If you compare and contrast Grandpa's 8 years with Bole Obama's 3 years, 5 months, Bole Obama has more projects to his name per capita in any nook and cranny of this country than Grandpa. What is even worse is that Bole Obama had just a fraction, maybe less than half, or a third of all the resources that Grandpa had within that period, which he used to do all those things that he did. And yet, when you look around, you can't find what Grandpa's did. And here is part of the evidence that points to that fact. You You remember how several of his appointees were asked on TV during interviews to name 3 or 4 monumental projects they are championed, and only one person could talk about an AstroTurf. Even that AstroTurf, later it was found out that it was a private project. And so it was not even true that that person, as an appointee of Grandpa's government and a member of parliament, had built an AstroTurf. You understand? In fact, they were also preoccupied with allegedly stealing money. That one of them was asked why he wanted to be president. And one of the first things he would do if he became president. And he said he will organize a We Are the World kind of concert. My brother, can you imagine? You noisy character going all over the place, shouting, insulting everybody. They ask you simple question. Oga, if you become president, what is one of the first things you will do? I'll organize a concert, call it We Are the World. And these are the kinds of people, this is the pool where the people have to choose from for people to come and lead this country to greatness. What do you think will happen to us and our children and their children? You understand? My brother, that is how bad things were. So whereas in just 3 years, Barack Obama was able to build a beautiful world-class airport, said that Nigerians started making serious noise about it and were motivated to go and finish theirs, which had stalled for years. People were happy to have blank stares whenever they were asked to name projects that they had done. Oga himself will go on a weekly visit to a region, and after wasting taxpayers' money in 50-car convoys on sometimes roads that you couldn't even find in the medieval era where horses were the predominant mode of transport, he will go and commission KVIPs or transformers. He commissioned the KVIP at Tachumango Abiaja. You think I've forgotten? You understand? Because the people he had put there were following the blueprint of he himself. So till today, we cannot have a discussion about his legacy on the national front, or should I say his positive legacy? Because it was only today that someone sent me the relevant page in the New York Times. So the article was titled Ghana's $58 million hole, and an aerial picture of the site that should have been the National Cathedral had been inserted, in the story. Surely it is one of Akufo-Addo's legacies, right? But is it a positive legacy? Or it is one of evil, wickedness, vileness, spinelessness, and of complete depravity? Because, my brother, think about it. Where in the world, or in the civilized world, will $58 million of taxpayers' money be sunk into an unproductive hole? Unless that country was being ruled by gangsters and mafiosi, or by special children who should have been used as experimental specimen in biological laboratories at BAFE. My brother, I remember I told all of you that I visited Dubai for the first time in 2013 when I was going to Obama's country. The exchange rate was 3.3 to 3.6 dirhams to the dollar. If you change it at the airport, it was 3.3. If you went to a private forex bureau, it was 3.6. And since 2013 to 2021, when I last visited Dubai, the dollar to dirham exchange rate was 3.3 to 3.6. And it has been so for the past donkey years. Why can't we, the people of Ghana, also do something like that? Grandpa at a campaigning and calling for Barack Obama to step aside and go and sit somewhere for taking Kufuor's $1 $1 to flash a very senseless idea to 2 cedis $1. He came and took the cedi from 4.3 to the dollar to 17 to the dollar. 17. It is even alleged that it was government people in that era who themselves were buying dollars and hoarding them in their bedrooms or shipping them outside to places like Guyana to go and buy oil fields and all those things there. So there was always pressure on the CD. Every time. Yet he never offered to go